best 2 hours of Elvis.
Blue Suede Connection.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You know I'm happy right now.
Oh my gosh! You know what? I know why you're happy.
Well, I love that song, and I love the rhythm and blues, Elvis.
Me too. And I'm tongue tied.
He does that
every
to you.
time we play the rhythm and blues part of Elvis's repertoire. You just know why he was destined to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just like in hour one, we played rock and roll and country in hour one. It's the best of the genres. I didn't even say that yet. It is the best of the genres here on Blue Suede Connection.
Remind people, baby, what it is.
Yeah, I got to remind. That's an important radio thing you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you're such a bad radio guy.
I'll get back to it. I'll get back into the rhythm of things here. Anyway, so hour number 2 is all about the rhythm and blues, and we're going to wind up the show today in the gospel music department, which is really good stuff there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
He did all these genres of music. He did them all well, and that's what made him Elvis Presley. All right, and so it's all about Elvis, all about the music, all about the genres. Again, like in hour 1, and we talked country, you heard from Johnny Cash and Glenn Campbell, and we did the rock and roll, you heard from Tom Petty and Keith Richards. And in hour 2 here, since we're going to get into rhythm and blues, I think we should hear from some of those artists. In fact, the king of blues.
Yes, sir.
Let's let him kick things off here at hour number 2 of Blue Suede Connection. Let's get into some rhythm and blues.
Elvis had something that made him sound like he truly meant it, and that's what made a lot of people like myself like him.
Love it, love it.
Baby.
Love that rhythm and blues Elvis.
Yes, good stuff.
All right, Elvis today, he is still very much the king, and I'm going to tell you why.
Baby.
All right, this comes from wealthypersons.com, and they just updated this in February of this year. So this is all current, and it's still happening. All right, he is still the king. Elvis holds the record for the most certified gold, platinum, and multi-platinum albums.
Nice.
And in 2018, we know that President Trump awarded him with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is
that was so cool.
a huge thing.
Yeah.
Graceland is still the second most visited home in the United States, next to the White House.
Yes.
He holds the most albums charting on the Billboard 200.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He is still considered the best-selling artist with sales over 1 billion. Most of his songs, when they came out always charted on the top 40 to the 100, which is an international record.
Yeah, wow.
He still holds the record for cumulative weeks at number 1 and most British number 1 hits.
Oh, nice.
I'm thinking, if you have a friend who's sitting down beside you right now who's never heard Elvis before,
right,
and you can give him a couple songs to give him an idea who he was, what songs would you come up with to explain Elvis to somebody, to a newcomer?
Oh my gosh.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because you got to pick from a generation.
Yeah, and every era is different from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. If I could pick 3 songs, I guess I would pick maybe Jailhouse Rock's a good rock and roll song from the 50s. If I wanted to give him the 60s Elvis, I guess it would be Are You Lonesome Tonight or something like that, maybe.
Oh, Fame and Fortune.
Or no, Suspicious Minds.
Oh, from late 60s.
Yeah, late 60s.
Well, you got to do Suspicious Minds. I like Treat Me Nice.
Yeah.
Or Baby I Don't Care. I think Treat Me Nice and Baby I Don't Care are the ones I think from the 50s that I would.
Yeah.
Because it's just fun.
And 70s, you've got to give them Burning Love.
Yeah.
But then if you want them to know Elvis, you got to play them some gospel. You got to give them a little How Great Thou Art or something like that.
It's too complicated. You're into a whole other...
It very much is.
And in reality, honey, who do we have in our life that doesn't know Elvis? And we'd have to be like 10.
Anybody that knows you, or me knows Elvis. In fact, the funny thing is, when we moved into our new house here, my nephews helped us move, and they're both very young. They're like 16 and 17 years old. And I mentioned Elvis. I said, you guys probably don't know who Elvis is, do you? Oh, Dan, we know who Elvis is. We know you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Al Green, great soul singer, rhythm and blues back in the 70s. Lots of great hits he made. He was a sort of a friend of Elvis's. He knew him, and he said this about him.
I think Presley had an influence on everybody's musical approach. I think he broke the ice for practically all great entertainers in that field.
Good stuff right there on Blue Suede Connection. We're in the rhythm blues section of the show today, and we're going to switch it over to gospel real soon.
Ooh, looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're going to get into good gospel music, but we're going to do 1 or 2 more blues before we go to our break. And Rufus Thomas was a gentleman who was a DJ there in Memphis, Tennessee, put out a couple records, blues stuff, and he really got to know Elvis very well, him and his wife. And they liked Elvis a lot, and Rufus made a statement about Elvis and the way he sang, and here's what he had to say.
Elvis came out with a style of his own, and it was very creative. And once he got into it and you got that feel, Elvis just took off like a late freight. And with Elvis doing this kind of music, gave an injection to black music that no other artist had ever done.
All right. All good things must come to end, and we must move to bigger and better other great things.
Okay.
Well, that's the rhythm and blues section of the show today. Now it's time to switch over to the music that Elvis loved more than any other kind of music. Gave him comfort, sang it from the heart. He sang everything from the heart, but there was something really special about the way Elvis delivered his gospel songs.
Exactly.
And I think if you ask a lot of really the hardcore fans out there that love Elvis, many of them will tell you the gospel is their favorite Elvis.
Yeah. Well, I still think if Elvis would have lived, that he would have really shined on the contemporary Christian genre. He would have really led there.
That would have happened. I agree totally. And one person who got to meet Elvis, and speaking of gospel and God, Pastor Hagee. Was somewhat friends, and he mentored Elvis a little bit and talked to him about God and this and that. And he had this to share. He'll kick off our gospel portion of the show.
I had a personal visit with Elvis Presley following his concert here in San Antonio years ago. Elvis had a deep sensitivity toward the Lord. He sold 600 million records, and that's a bunch. He received 3 Grammys, one for his life's work, and 2 for his religious recordings. Those 2 songs were How Great Thou Art and He Touched Me. He had a tender heart toward the Lord, and he sang about heaven with a real passion that touched the lives of people, even through a record. I know some of you are going to start writing me a nasty letter for saying good things about Elvis Presley. Please, when you get to be perfect, then send me a letter.
You know, Pastor Hagee said about singing from the heart and singing with passion gospel music. Well, you just heard it right there.
Oh my gosh, it just floors me.
It still gives you chills to this day, doesn't it?
It gets me, especially when Elvis says, "How great I think you are."
Yeah.
You know,
he's adding his own stuff there.
Yeah, he's adding his own. It's just amazing.
J.D. Sumner was Elvis's backup singer, the bass singer, all through the 70s. And they knew each other from the 50s when Elvis would sneak backstage to see him. And he knew Elvis intimately.
Elvis grew up in Tupelo, Mississippi. And at that time, the Melody Boys were on in Little Rock. He could pick up that station, Joe Roper and the Melody Boys. And the Blackwood Brothers were on in Memphis, Tennessee, and every quartet that he could tune in, well, he listened to because that was his favorite kind of music.
I know one place we can't go.
Where's that?
Upstairs at Graceland.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and we'll never be able to go there, which I think is correct. But you know, there is one thing about going up those stairs that is curious. And actually, I have to admit, I never really knew this. But at the very top of the stairs, there's curtains that are there. Now, currently today, they're blue curtains because Priscilla turned Graceland back to blue when she opened up for tour. But they used to be red, so there's a lot of pictures of the red. And there's something behind it.
What's behind it?
And I never knew there was something behind it. There's actually a door.
Okay.
And the door used to open up to a little veranda. But when Elvis remodeled, he put it all in and made it the jungle room.
Okay, all right.
So that door really doesn't, go anywhere anymore like it used to, like you would be able to go out on that little veranda. So they just put the curtains there so you just don't see the door. But there is another door.
Another secret door.
There's another door. So if you go up to the top of the stairs, you go right, you go through that door. That goes into Elvis's private sanctuary. To the right is Elvis's room. There's Lisa's room up there. But to the left, there's another door that goes down to the kitchen.
Like that haunted house with all the bizarre, things. I forget what the Winchester house.
The Winchester house.
Yeah, Graceland's got a little Winchester house happening. All right. Terry Blackwood, he sang with the Imperials, and they sang with Elvis on record and in concert the first year, 1969. And listen to what he has to say.
The Imperials never met a kinder man, a more generous man, loved life and loved people, and where that places him in the kingdom or in God's care is only for God to know.
Well, I think we did prove one thing today.
What's that?
Elvis could sing anything.
Oh, definitely.
I remember somebody once said, I forget who it was, they said Elvis could sing the phone book and it would be fantastic.
That's true.
He would sing the phone book with lots of heart and passion.
Oh, exactly.
There you go. I love every genre he did. I always say I love the rhythm and blues, Elvis, and I do. That's probably my favorite.
Right.
But when I say that, then I sit and listen to the gospel that we just played, and then I think back to some of his great country songs with that heart.
You
Make
can't.
the world go away.
You just can't. Sing it, baby. Yeah, you just can't pick.
You can't. You really can't. Whatever your favorite Elvis is, we hope you heard some of it today. I'm sure you did. Mm-hmm. That's what we strive to do every week. We're going to do this all again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hey TL, I think Elvis fans are starting to catch on to Blue Suede Connection.
What's not to love, Daniel? 2 hours of great Elvis music, lots of fun. It's our own private party.
And we want everybody to be part of the party. Hear all the hits, rare cuts, and lots of surprises too. We are your Blue Suede Connection. Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And hit that notification bell.
We are your Blue Suede Connection.